Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty wild. We're going to explore how a 2,000-year-old masterpiece actually served as the ultimate state-sponsored brand narrative. We're talking about a PR campaign so powerful it managed to unify a completely fractured empire. Yep, we are talking about Virgil's Aeneid and the absolute genesis of imperial Rome.
Okay, let's kick this off with a genuinely shocking fact. Virgil, the genius behind this epic, was such an intense perfectionist that he actually thought his life's work was basically a flawed draft. I mean, on his deathbed, he literally ordered the manuscript to be burned. No way, right? But the emperor stepped in and executed an executive override to save what he recognized as the ultimate piece of state propaganda. So you might be wondering, why was this specific document so incredibly valuable to the ruler of Rome? Well, to figure that out, we have to look at the state of their world at the time.
Section 1. The Collapse of the Republic.
To really understand the massive structural problem Rome was facing, we have to look at the 1st century BC. It was deeply, deeply fractured. We're talking decades of exhausting civil warfare, volatile power struggles, and targeted political assassinations, most famously, of course, Julius Caesar in 44 BC. The ancient republic simply fell apart. The populace was completely drained, and there was this systemic, desperate demand for order and stability. Then, fast forward to 31 BC. After neutralizing Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Octavian steps up as the first official emperor of Rome, taking on the sovereign title of Augustus.
Section 2. Designing a National Identity.
So, the new management takes over. Augustus famously claimed he found a city of bricks and left it clothed in marble. And that perfectly captures his massive investment in physically rebuilding Rome. But here's the thing. Augustus knew that physical marble just wasn't going to cut it. He needed a powerful brand identity to legitimize his absolute, unprecedented rule. So, he teams up with his wealthy corporate advisor, a guy named Maecenas, and they set up this massive funding network for elite artists and poets. The goal? To engineer a glorious national identity from scratch and justify Rome's market dominance over the rest of the world.
To pull off a rebrand of this scale, he needed the right political architecture. Augustus inaugurated the Pax Romana, this extended era of relative internal stability and external peace. It was within this highly controlled, peaceful environment that Augustus issued an executive commission to Virgil. He basically handed him a mandate: write the definitive Roman manifesto.
Section 3. Rivaling the Greek canon.
Let's look at the product development phase. Virgil spent the last 11 years of his life systematically designing an epic to directly challenge the Greek literary titans. And the way he did it is brilliant. He functionally synthesized the existing Greek canon into 12 strategic books. The first 6 books, they're all about complex maritime transits and systemic hardships, directly mirroring Homer's Odyssey. Then, the final 6 books shift gears entirely to document brutal, high-stakes warfare on Italian soil, mirroring the Iliad. He took the best of both worlds and merged them into one distinctively Roman asset.
Section 4. The Journey of Aeneas.
Now, the crucial part of this whole narrative product is the protagonist himself, Aeneas. He's a Trojan prince who survives the total destruction of his city by the Greeks. He's given a severe divine directive to go and seed a new ancestral lineage in Italy. His operational mandate follows 4 brutal milestones, starting right from his escape from a burning metropolis. Picture him physically carrying his elderly father on his back, holding his young son's hand, and rescuing his people's protective spirits. It's an incredibly powerful image.
And the journey is just packed with insane stakes. For instance, a storm strands him in Carthage, where Queen Dido falls deeply in love with him. She even offers to merge their empires. Aeneas actually hesitates, but the gods literally dispatch Mercury to tell him to get back to work. He leaves covertly, and a devastated Dido takes her own life, issuing a lasting curse on his descendants. It's this brilliant narrative device that poetically explains Rome's real-world historic rivalry with Carthage. Later, Aeneas descends into the underworld, where he gets a VIP tour of Rome's future elite, kings, generals, and surprise, surprise, Emperor Augustus himself. Finally, he lands in Italy, triggers a volatile war, and it all ends in a dramatic duel with a local prince named Turnus. Aeneas wins, and in a moment of righteous rage delivers a ruthlessly abrupt fatal blow.
Section 5. The Cost of Roman Duty. But beneath all the bloody battles and tragic romance is the true ideological core of this epic, the fierce tension between individual desire and systemic duty. Think about the classic Greek hero, like Achilles. He operated entirely on a desire for individual glorification, or kleos. The Roman hero, Aeneas, is driven by something totally different. He consciously sacrifices his own individual happiness, like his romance with Dido, to execute his macroeconomic mission.
And that driving force has a name: pietas. This is the absolute ultimate metric of Roman loyalty. It's devotion to the gods, the state, and the family above any localized emotion or personal ambition. And honestly, this is the exact foundational virtue Augustus wanted coded into the DNA of every single citizen to justify the sacrifices needed to run his empire.
Section 6. Blueprint for Brand Narratives.
Let's talk about the return on investment here, because the cultural legacy is just immense. The Aeneid became the architectural blueprint for all future high-culture Western epics, like Dante's Divine Comedy. But even more importantly, it codified Rome's corporate mandate. Virgil explicitly wrote that while other nations might be better at sculpting bronze or charting stars, Rome's job was to govern with absolute authority, impose peace, and systematically crush the arrogant. It really is the most successful case study of state-sponsored nation-building ever. They managed to align an entire population under a single banner.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to look around at the branding and messaging you interact with every single day. The cultivation of modern corporate purpose statements and national myths uses the exact same psychological infrastructure engineered back in imperial Rome. Ask yourself, is your worldview or your sense of duty still being shaped by a 2,000-year-old state-sponsored narrative? Think about it. Keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.